Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we take the most crucial frameworks and really distill them down, giving you that shortcut to instant expertise.
May I be here?
Today, we are diving deep into leadership transitions, and honestly, it's a realm where the odds are, well, shockingly stacked against you.
They absolutely are. It's kind of sobering when you look at it.
Right.
When a new leader steps into a role, the data is, frankly, grim.
How grim are we talking?
Nearly half, somewhere between 40 and 50%. They either fail outright or underperform severely within the first 18 months.
Wow, half.
Yeah. And almost always the root of that failure, it can be traced right back to crucial, avoidable mistakes made in those first 100 days.
40 to 50%. That's not just bad luck, that's a pattern. It means you absolutely need a playbook.
Exactly.
So that's why our mission today is pretty simple. We are giving you the proven step-by-step success framework for managing any leadership transition.
And this blueprint, it really works whether you are, say, an external hire, an internal promotion.
A veteran CEO, even a frontline supervisor.
Yes, exactly. It's about how you take charge, how you build your team, and crucially, how you deliver immediate results.
Okay, but before we jump into the how-to, the mechanics, there's a foundational idea, right? A philosophy.
Yes, and it's critical. You have to internalize this before anything else makes sense. Leadership, in this context, it's defined as inspiring and enabling others to do their absolute best together.
Okay.
To realize a meaningful and rewarding shared purpose. It's a fundamental shift in perspective. Success really hinges on this idea that leadership is, well, not about you, it's about them.
Not about you, it's about them. That reframing feels essential. Okay, let's unpack this blueprint then. Starting with phase 1, positioning and selling yourself, or as the source calls it, securing the win.
Right, and this phase, it actually begins long before you get anything like an offer letter.
Before the offer, okay.
You have to adopt what's called the sell before you buy mindset. The hard rule here is, look, you cannot negotiate a job offer you haven't received.
Makes sense.
And you certainly can't turn one down if you don't have it. So initially, every single action, every question you ask, every conversation, it's solely focused on securing that offer, period.
That's a really great focus filter. It kind of cuts through the noise, doesn't it?
It does.
And it turns that whole, sometimes chaotic interview process into something more manageable, something built around, what, 3 fundamental questions?
Exactly. 3 pillars of candidate assessment that every skillful candidate has to successfully answer.
Okay, what are they?
First, can you do the job? Pretty straightforward, right? But this requires demonstrating your strengths are a clear match. Usually you do this by providing really detailed situation-to-action result examples. Prove your capability.
Your samples, got it.
Second, will you love the job? This is different. You've got to show alignment between the role and your personal values, your long-term interests. Basically proving your motivation is a genuine match, that you actually want it.
Okay, not just capable, but motivated. And the third?
Third, can I tolerate working with you? This is all about the cultural and behavioral fit. Are you a suitable addition to this specific organization's ecosystem? Will you blend in or clash?
I really appreciate that framing because it forces you, the listener, to constantly think, okay, which of these 3 questions are they trying to answer about me right now?
Exactly. It gives you control.
But then the dynamic flips, right? Once the win is secured, once you have that offer.
Totally flips. Now you have the leverage. And the focus shifts very aggressively to risk mitigation. Due diligence isn't optional anymore.
It becomes mandatory.
Absolutely mandatory. You have to scope out what are often called the dangerous 7 landmines. And many of these, you've got to assess them, maybe even diffuse them, before you accept the job, before you lose that leverage.
Okay, 7 sounds like a lot. Let's focus on the ones that cause the most immediate train wrecks, the big 3.
Yeah, let's nail those down. They revolve around the organization, the role, and the personal fit.
Okay, organization.
The organization landmine is basically accepting a role where the company just lacks a clear, winning, sustainable competitive advantage. You're like walking into a burning building with no fire escape.
Ouch. Okay, role.
The role landmine. This is about misaligned expectations. Maybe you're given authority but not the resources to match. Or key stakeholders are fundamentally pulling in different directions about what your job even is.
Setting you up to fail.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And the personal landmine, this one's maybe the most subtle. It's when there are internal gaps. In your own strengths, maybe your motivation isn't quite right for this role. or your style just doesn't fit the specific demands of this particular culture.
All right, things you need to be honest with yourself about.
Absolutely.
So those are the big three immediate threats: organization, role, personal. And for listeners keeping track, the other four involve things like culture, team structure, competitor response, stakeholder issues. But those first three, they're the real immediate showstoppers, you're saying.
They are. Get those wrong, and it's very hard to recover.
So how does a leader actually do this mandatory due diligence? It sounds intense.
Wait, you need a structured approach, a framework to assess that organizational risk systematically. And that framework analyzes the 5 C's: customers, collaborators, capabilities, competitors, and conditions.
The 5 C's. Okay, this isn't just like skimming the annual report, is it?
Oh, definitely not. You need to go deeper.
All right, let's take a second then and add some real depth to those 5 C's. Give us the key nugget for each one, starting with customers.
Okay, customers. You have to understand the shifts in their needs, their behaviors. And a key insight here often comes not from the sales team, surprisingly,
True or from?
from the frontline service and support teams. They know what's actually broken right now. They hear the real complaints.
That's a good point. Okay, collaborators.
For collaborators, don't just look at your suppliers. Think broader. Who are your government regulators, strategic partners, any third-party allies? Is there a risk lurking in their relationship with you that could suddenly destabilize your supply chain or market access?
Hidden dependencies. And capabilities. You said this is often the hidden trap.
It really is. Capabilities are your people, your operations, your tech assets. The deepest insight here is figuring out where the organization is overinvested versus underinvested.
All right.
Well, are they pouring fortunes into maintaining some ancient legacy system nobody really uses while completely ignoring crucial future technologies everyone else is adopting? That kind of mismatch.
Got it. Next, competitors.
For competitors, yeah, look beyond the obvious rivals. Don't just analyze the guys you fight with every day. Investigate the indirect competitors, the substitutes. What totally unexpected new entrant could suddenly just redefine the whole market and make your advantage irrelevant?
Thinking outside the usual box. Okay, lastly, conditions.
Right, conditions.
Yeah.
These are the big picture things: macroeconomic trends, political shifts, social changes, new regulations. The critical task here is separating the temporary noise, the volatility, from the fundamental long-term trends that demand real structural change.
So checking the weather forecast versus realizing the whole climate is shifting permanently.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it.
Okay, that makes sense. So you've done your due diligence, you've navigated the landmines, the contract is signed. Now I move into phase 2. Take control of your own start. And this phase seems to center around this idea of the fuzzy front end.
Yeah, the fuzzy front end, it's basically that time between officially accepting the job and your actual day one. It's this incredibly valuable gift of time, as the source calls it.
A gift of time, how so?
Well, a wise leader treats this time as crucial prep. It's for jump-starting learning and relationships, both mentally and physically getting ready.
Okay, so phase 1 was about gathering intel to make the decision. Phase 2 is about gathering the more granular intel needed for immediate execution.
Precisely. You're laying the groundwork.
What's the single most valuable thing a leader can get from those pre-start calls or meetings that they just can't get after day 1?
Well, that's easy. Candor. Real honesty.
Candor. Why then specifically?
Think about it. The answers you get before you officially start are often far more candid, more direct than what you'll hear after day 1. Before you start, you're still seen partly as an outsider, maybe an objective party, someone looking to learn.
A potential ally, maybe?
Right. But after day 1, boom, you're the boss. And instantly the conversation becomes more filtered, more political, more cautious. People watch what they say.
Ah, so you use that pre-start leverage.
Absolutely. Use it to plan your initial message. Sort out the annoying setup logistics like get your computer, passwords, building paths sorted early if you can, and crucially, conduct those pre-start meetings. Talk to key people.
Yeah.
Up, across, and down the organization.
Get the lay of the land before you're formally in charge.
Exactly. It's invaluable.
Then, day 1 arrives, the big day. You say this is a critical pivot point because everything gets magnified.
Totally magnified. First impressions are, as they say, indelible. You are setting the standard from minute 1. Everything you do or don't do sends a message.
So what's the main rule for day 1?
The leader must control the agenda. You cannot just passively accept the schedule someone else, like HR or maybe your predecessor's assistant hands you. You drive.
Take charge immediately.
Yes. And be deeply mindful of things like location, signs, symbols. Where do you hold your first meeting? what's visible on your desk or isn't. And critically, the order of your actions is scrutinized intensely. It often communicates far more than any prepared speech you might give.
That reminds me of that famous story, the one about the new CEO and the customer visits.
Oh yeah, a textbook example of controlling the message through action.
Tell us briefly.
Sure. So this new CEO arrives. There's a formal schedule all planned out for him by the existing team. Meetings, introductions, facility tours, the usual stuff.
Right.
But instead, he basically walks in, quickly addresses his senior team, introduces himself very briefly, and then announces he's immediately leaving the office. He says he's going to spend the next 10 days talking exclusively to customers.
Wow. Before diving into internal stuff.
Exactly. That simple action sent this immediate, powerful, undeniable signal. The customer is priority number one. Strategy, internal alignment, all that will follow, it won't precede understanding the customer's needs deeply.
Actions speak louder than words right there.
Absolutely. Pure message control.
That kind of intentional control of the narrative, it sets the stage perfectly for phase 3, the 100-day action plan, which you said is all about rapidly building, what was it, tactical capacity?
Exactly. Tactical capacity. That's the goal for the first 100 days.
And what is tactical capacity, really?
Think of it as the team's ability to react flexibly, fluidly, effectively, especially when unwelcome realities or unexpected crises hit. It's what bridges a good strategy to successful execution on the ground, day to day.
Okay, the bridge between strategy and execution. How do you build it?
The theory states that this capacity is built by aligning the team's people, plans, and practices all around a single, clear, shared purpose.
People, plans, practices around a shared purpose. Sounds good, but alignment. That can feel a bit abstract, can't it? How does a new leader actually measure if they're successfully aligning those 3 Ps?
It feels abstract until a crisis hits. The real measure of success, the proof, is the speed and the effectiveness of the team's response to the first major unexpected problem they face under your leadership.
Ah, the first test.
Right. That's why the Apollo 13 analogy is so often used here. That team, faced with a dramatic, completely unwelcome new reality, an explosion basically, they reacted with incredible flexibility and fluidity. They found new ways to use their existing resources, their existing people, plans, practices.
To solve a problem they never anticipated.
Exactly. And that crisis response perfectly highlights the 5 core, you might say, non-negotiable building blocks of tactical capacity you need to establish.
Okay, let's jump into those 5 building blocks. There's a clock ticking on these, isn't there? Starting with the first one, which needs to be in place by day 30. Embed a strong burning imperative.
Yes. Day 30 for the burning imperative. This isn't just a mission statement. It's a sharply defined, intensely shared, and purposefully urgent understanding that focuses everyone's efforts laser-like.
Like in Apollo 13.
Precisely. The imperative instantly shifted from the original plan of collecting moon rocks to the incredibly stark getting these men home alive. That galvanized everything.
So it's not just announcing a new target or KPI.
No. Crafting this means finding the existing crisis, or maybe a huge opportunity that everyone kind of already recognizes is there, but they haven't yet focused their collective energy on it. You need real consensus on why we absolutely must change, and you need it fast by day 30.
Okay, urgent consensus by day 30. Next, by day 45, we need to exploit key milestones.
Right, milestones. These turn that big, overarching imperative into concrete, manageable, measurable action steps. They're the checkpoints.
So do they clarify?
They drive clarity around who makes which decisions, who's accountable for what, where different teams need to collaborate, how information needs to flow. For the Apollo team, the milestones were crystal clear, right? Turn the ship around, preserve energy, fix the CO2 problem, build the adapter. These checkpoints have to be totally transparent and understood across all the different functions involved.
Makes sense. Actionable steps. Then we hit day 60, and the focus is on over-investing in early wins.
Yes, early wins. These are absolutely crucial. They build team confidence, build morale, and, maybe most importantly, they establish your credibility as the new leader.
Why over-invest?
Because you must ensure these wins happen, and that they're delivered better and faster than anyone thought possible. You stack the deck in their favor. For the Apollo team, fixing that carbon monoxide filter with duct tape and cardboard, that was the critical early win. It proved they could solve the seemingly impossible, which made them believe they could actually get the crew home safely.
Okay, but hold on. Doesn't focusing so much on quick early wins create a risk? Like, a new leader might pick an easy, visible win just for show, instead of tackling a really difficult, necessary structural fix that might take 6 months or a year. How do you balance that? Building credibility versus deep, long-term change.
Ah, that's a great question. And that's exactly the tension you, as the leader, have to manage actively. The primary goal of that early win isn't necessarily to solve the single biggest underlying problem the organization has.
It isn't. Then what is it?
It's fundamentally about changing the team's belief system, about what's possible. If you can deliver a significant visible win early on, even if it's not the ultimate fix, you buy yourself invaluable political capital. You create cultural space. You build trust.
Which you then spend on the harder stuff later.
Exactly. You earn the right and build the confidence within the team to tackle those longer, more painful, perhaps less visible structural issues down the line. Early wins fuel the belief that those really hard changes are even possible to achieve together.
Okay, that clarifies the day 60 deadline much better. It's about momentum and belief. Moving on, day 70. The focus shifts sharply to people, securing ADPT people in the right roles.
Yes. Day 70 is People Judgment Day, essentially. You have to be decisive about talent. ADPT, it's an acronym. It stands for Acquire, Develop, Encourage, Plan, and Transition Talent.
Acquire, develop, encourage, plan, transition, ADPT.
The overall goal is simple. Get the right talent in the right roles with the right support quickly.
Let me challenge the order there just for a second. ADPT. Should a new leader really be acquiring and developing people before they plan the structure? It kind of sounds like you need to define the structure, the plan first.
You're right to question the literal sequence. While the acronym is ADPT, the reality on the ground is much more dynamic. A truly effective leader actually starts with plan.
Starts with plan. Okay.
Yes. You first map out the target structure. What roles, what accountabilities are absolutely necessary to deliver on that burning imperative you set back at day 30. Then, with that map in hand, you swiftly assess who among your existing team actually fits those critical roles, who has the skills and the will.
So plan first, then assess against the plan.
Exactly. And then you act on the acquire, develop, encourage, transition parts based on those assessments. The common failure point here, honestly, isn't usually technical difficulty in assessing people. It's often fear.
Fear.
Yeah, the fear of making those difficult personnel decisions, maybe based on loyalty or past history rather than on what's needed for the future capability. Delaying these crucial people decisions past that day 70 mark, it basically sabotages the entire execution plan you're trying to build.
That fear-based inertia. Oh, yeah, it's the killers, and it makes sense. Okay, finally, wrapping up the 5 building blocks is the one concept that isn't tied to a specific day but has to be ongoing. Driving action with an ongoing communication campaign.
Absolutely critical, and it never stops. Because everything communicates. What you say, yes, but also what you do. And importantly, what you don't say or don't do. It all sends signals.
So the communication campaign, what's its job?
Its job is threefold, really. First, it launches the imperative, gets it out there. Second, it constantly seeds the message, reinforcing the why. And third, it works to institutionalize the change through constant, intentional repetition.
Repetition is key.
Absolutely essential. Leaders often make the mistake of stopping communicating right when the message is finally starting to break through the noise and sink in across the organization.
Yeah.
You, as the leader, will get incredibly bored of your own message, long before the critical mass of your people actually internalizes it and starts acting on it. So repeat, repeat, repeat.
Don't stop just because you're tired of hearing it.
Exactly. Keep reinforcing.
Wow. Okay, this whole framework moves at an almost, well, terrifying speed, doesn't it? The imperative by day 30, milestones by 45, early wins by 60, people sorted by day 70. It really hammers home that the failure of leadership isn't always about making actively bad decisions. Sometimes it's just about a lack of deliberate, structured speed.
That's a huge part of it. Indecision or slow action in those early days can be fatal.
So let's recap our deep dive then. Success in a new leadership role. It seems to hinge first on really meticulous preparation before you even start, during that fuzzy front end, right? Getting the unvarnished facts before day 1.
Correct. Preparation is paramount.
And then, once you start, it relies on aggressively, systematically building that tactical capacity, using those 5 building blocks we just walked through: the imperative, milestones, early wins, people, and ongoing communication to bridge strategy and execution.
You've got it. That's the core framework.
All right, here is where it gets really interesting. Maybe the final thought for you, our listener, to carry away from this. Your assignment, your transition, it didn't start on day 1. It actually started the moment you learned you were even a candidate for the role.
That's a powerful reframe.
That shockingly high failure rate we talked about at the beginning, it's often not because the job itself is impossible. It's because leaders fundamentally fail to manage the process of transition itself. Success, ultimately, might be less about what you know about the technical aspects of the job and far more about how deliberately, how strategically you manage the perception of your strengths, your motivation, and your fit right from the very beginning.
Perception management is a core skill.
Exactly. A true deep dive into success and leadership. It starts long, long before day one.